Good evening and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Elizabeth Town Board. I will call this meeting to order at 7:09 PM on November 12th, 2025. May we please have a roll call?
Sure, Mr. Boggs.
Present.
Ms. Bouchard.
Present.
Ms. Olson.
Present.
Mr. Goldman.
Present.
Ms. Weatherby.
Present. Excellent. I have a few things I'd like to pull from the agenda. With the board's consent. Item 7A under old business. The request for proposals, the RFP for ground mounted solar energy. We're gonna be moving that to the December meeting. In part, it gives everybody a little bit more time to fine tune any components of it. But more specifically because the engineering firm, Tatum Engineering, has been helping us with it. And solar contractors are so busy right now trying to wrap up 2025 projects that if we send out the RFP in December, literally nobody will respond. So the recommendation has been to move it to January. So I talked to legal, accepting it in reviewing it and accepting the request for proposals, the document to push out in December. So then it will be early in January, we can push it out and actually get people to look at it. So that's why that's pulled, and the folks working on it are aware of that. So we're suggesting that, and then we don't have any board notifications or budget modifications, items 11 or 12. So those can be removed without impairment. Are there any other changes, additions, or subtractions to the agenda?
Get a quick update on the comprehensive.
Yeah, it'll be under the board updates.
Okay. Move to approve as amended.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That brings us to privilege of the floor. Anyone is welcome to up to 3 minutes. Let me get my timer going. I go back and forth in person and online so that everybody who wishes to speak has that opportunity. And we also have a second privilege of floor at the end of the meeting. So is there anybody in person who wishes to address the town board? Okay, is there anybody online who wishes to address the town board? Okay, going once, going twice. Anybody, either venue? Okay, we can move on. With that, I would like to welcome David Weinstein. I know you're coming to us from the Environmental Management Council to talk about unique natural spaces. And thank you for being here. Thank you to Mary for organizing it. So.
Okay, so let me share my screen.
And if you would like to see the presentation on the screen behind you, please feel free to relocate or move your chair to better facilitate your viewing.
Do we want them up there?
Would you mind coming up here? Is that possible? So you can have video? That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So
So the seats over here.
Thank you to the board giving us this opportunity to update you on the unique natural areas. My name is David Weinstein. I'm a member of the committee that deals with unique natural areas for the Tompkins County Environmental Management Council. And I'm joined tonight by Steve Nicholson, who is our chair of that committee from the Environmental Management Council. So we wanted to talk to you for two reasons. One, to bring up your awareness in case you weren't aware that we have this unique natural area inventory, and that those can be very good things that can be used in planning. They're valuable resources for the county, for your town. Great to use them in planning. But our second thing, which I'll get to a little bit later, is that we just finished an update of the boundaries for all of these. And I'll explain why we had to do an update, and you'll see. So just to go over the general purpose of the unique natural areas inventory, It's really to identify and describe in the county the sites that have outstanding environmental quality. And we have a whole list of what those, what will call, what falls under that category. To promote conservation and preservation, although we're not doing anything to make sure these sites get preserved. That's in your bailiwick. But we can make suggestions, give you information. And then, as I said, to help people make informed choices when they're doing planning about, well, should a development go here that's going to be very close to a unique natural area, or maybe intrude on that natural area. It's up to people to, they can't make good decisions unless they're aware of where these things are. So the unique natural area designation, these are important points. It's advisory. It is not regulatory in any way, shape, or form. It's just to give the information out there so people know where these things exist. It does not provide any legal protection for an area. That's for the towns and or the county to decide whether they want to do anything there. But it can be referenced when you're doing the planning process. It can be referenced in the planning and the zoning. So I won't go through this big timeline of where these unique natural areas, this whole development of the county unique natural areas started in 1973. But the important point is this last point, where last year in 2024, we finished these boundary revisions. And so now the amount of land that's in the that's designated as unique natural areas in the county is a little under 15% of the land in the county, about 43,000 acres, a little bit more than that. And we currently have 195 sites. A couple of those sites are questionable. As I found out from other boards, there are sites that have gotten compromised. So in order to be a unique natural area, it has to meet one or more of these characteristics. And I'm sorry, it's really hard to see over there, but I'll tell you what they are. It could be a designated area that's already gotten a designation, or a preserve, like something that the Finger Lakes Land Trust has made. It can be a state or county designated wetland. We all know that wetlands are very important. They provide a lot of ecosystem services. So we include those. If it contains diverse flora or fauna, making it a special site, or rare or scarce plant or animal species. If it has historical, botanical, or zoological importance, that people have known about this site for a long time. Geological importance, of course, that rings a big bell here in Ulysses, because you have a lot of sites that have really important geological importance. And if it's been an important teaching site for the colleges or the high schools or around, they've gone out to these sites frequently. They found they're very useful. So we felt that was an important criteria to allow them to be included in the unique natural area survey. They include old growth woods, important birding sites, plant or animal communities that are of very high quality in terms of the kinds of species that they have in there. If they have great recreational value, we don't designate things as unique natural areas simply by the resident recreational value, but that's an added thing. If something is well known as an important site with scenic views, and it has rare species, that adds to its value. I said scenic vistas. If it's considered wilderness, if it's an archaeological site or a paleontological site, meaning there's great fossils there, cultural or historical importance, And urban green space is an important issue, although I don't know that many of our sites have been designated because they are urban green space. So here is the map of all the sites in the county. As I said, 195 sites. But let's go right into Ulysses. And you guys have 9 sites in the town of Ulysses. Quite a number that are right on the lake cliffs. But others that are wetlands or other reasons that are far from that. Here are the 9 sites that you have, and I've tried to list why, what are 1 or 2 reasons why this site really was chosen. So Taganic Gorge, we all know, special geology, Smith Woods, older growth forest, Heartwoods, which is one of the ones that has actually gotten expanded because of the change in the boundary. But this has remnants of mature forest trees. It's a rich site, and it has a diverse herbaceous layer in those woods. Wetlands, the Waterberg wetland, the Willow Creek Glen and Lake Slopes. Those are chosen because they have not only rare vegetation, but lake slope gorges, as you all know, Maplewood Glen, and Glenwood Ravine, which, you know, again, these have very interesting species on the sides of these ravines. The Poyer Orchard diatreme, which I had never heard of before I prepared this. Apparently, it's a small site that people thought they could find diamonds in. They didn't find diamonds, but they found a lot of other very interesting minerals at this site. So, you know, it's got historical value to residents. And then another wetland, the Iredell wetland. Okay, so here's an example of the kind of information you can get from the survey. This happens to be the Willow Creek Glen and Lake Slopes, unique natural area number 61. So there's in the survey, and you'll get a copy of all the information for your town. It'll get delivered to you on a flash drive. We don't quite have those prepared yet, but you'll get them. Along with that, for each site, there's this wealth of information that comes along with it. The location, what tax parcels are included in the site. I hope this is up to date. We haven't actually gone and seen if some tax parcels have been split out. I don't know. That's some past for the future. A general description of the site, and then the reasons reasons for selection. And I'm just showing you a small number. Let me highlight these 2, the site description. Very important to give you a sense of why this is a unique natural area, but even more important than that, the reasons it was selected. So that we're upfront. It wasn't a mysterious process. We're upfront. It's got rare plants, which are actually and rare and scarce plants. They are listed in the documentation for that site. Area of geological importance, scenic value, etc. It has some old growth forest as well. Okay, so let's get to, that's why we have the unique natural area inventory for you to use. So that information is communicated, so you know if you decide to develop in one of these sites, that's up to you. But you know at least what you're losing if you do that. When we did this, if you go back to 1990, if any of us can remember back that far, there were only aerial photographs of these sites. And so the best we could do at that time was use these aerial photographs, take a magic marker, and try to draw the outline of what we thought was important, and that was also helped by some field biologists who knew these sites and they knew where that magic marker line goes, but magic marker is really not very good, not really relied on. So we decided to redo all of these boundaries. We used a set of guidelines, but mostly we had these 8 characteristics that caused us to change the boundary in one particular line. In some cases, it was appropriate to snap it to the tax parcel, but more importantly, to follow the edge of the mature vegetation, the edge of a wetland, cut out farm fields. Some of our magic marker lines went across farm fields, cut out yards, follow the contour lines, incorporate where we knew the rare species were, and that led us to a map like this. And with this doesn't happen to be in your town, but it's a good example of what we found. This is Fleming Meadow. And what we found was, if you can see, let's see, do I have a cursor here? Well, I've got a cursor, which doesn't seem to be showing up. But in any case, if you look real close, you can see there's a yellow, solid yellow line. That's the new boundary. And then a dotted yellow line is the old boundary. And let me just zoom in on a part of this. So you see how the old boundary deviated quite a bit from what we now know to be the wetland in this case. And we've identified at each place where we made changes, whether in this case it was either a number 3 where we wanted to follow where the wetland actually was, or a number 2 to follow where the mature vegetation was. And so it's quite appropriate to make these changes. You can see some of the previous lines, like this dotted line, went right into the wetland. So it didn't really protect the wetland itself as an entity. So very important process we went through. And we spent many years trying to get to all these sites. Here's another example. I don't know if you can see that dotted yellow line, but it is way different than what we decided the real boundaries should be. So it was a good process to get more accurate data to planners to make decisions. So for your 9 sites here, turns out most of your sites had no changes. You wouldn't expect a change for Teganic Gorge because kind of the park has set that. You wouldn't expect a change for Smith Woods, but some, like Heartwoods, really did expand. The Waterberg wetland shrunk, and there was a big change in the Iredale wetland. So overall, there was an increase of 5% of the acreage that's in the UNAs in the town of Ulysses, with a small change on one and some big changes on another. So it's valuable information. As I said, for the whole county, we now have almost 15% of the land that's in these unique natural areas. For Ulysses, I'm sorry, it's only 5%, but blame the glacier on that. The glacier has done very different things on the east side of the lake than on the west side of the lake. But you've got those great gorges going down to the lake. We also, where possible, every year, we try to do a couple of field visits where the owner has given us permission to go on, so we can check out some of this information. There's only so much you can get from aerial photographs or looking at GIS maps. So we do try to do these visits, just a couple a year. We try to look at sites that have not been visited before or newly designated UNAs, although there haven't been any new designations in the last bunch of years. Or sites that we think are very threatened by development, so we want to make sure the most accurate information is being given to the planners. So that's what we're doing. I hope it's valuable to you, and any additional questions I or Steve will entertain if you got any.
Yes. I don't have a seeker form in front of me, but I've had too many of them,
Uh-huh.
and I can't remember. Does seeker make reference to unique national
No.
areas?
The unique natural area has to be converted to a critical environmental area.
Okay.
And none in this county have been, well, I take
None in the
that back.
county?
Well, there's one.
Isn't there, there is one,
There's one in the
there's
township.
one that has
Interesting.
has become a critical environmental area. Even so, there's plenty of room on a seeker form to say, hey, this is a unique natural area, and that's that, and there are reasons, so it is of concern. You just can't fill in that box where it says critical environmental area.
There's a question that's like under unique, like scenic natural resources designated by
Yep.
county or state or something, so usually you could put these in there.
Yep.
to make
Yeah,
it-
there's a map.
You need, but not
Not a specific yes or no.
not specific.
Right, but there is a map that, county planning of the scenic view sheds of the area.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Well, this timing is great. When are you, my question was, when is the report, when's the data going to, that fund transfer gonna happen?
Well, the problem has been that the county is changing their GIS system.
Got
And that has caused our access to the data, so we could put the data on a flash drive for you. That slowed it up, so unfortunately, Steve, do you know, is the county any closer to finishing that process?
The last I heard, they're getting closer, and we were hoping that each presentation would be able to hand you. But it'll be,
Steve, is the
it's on the
website,
way.
is the website still up for municipalities to access? Where we're accessing the map? Is that still available?
Not the newest.
Not this one.
You can, well, within the town, you have the big book.
Yeah.
And much of that information has not changed, but the map, you can go to the county website and see the new maps. So if you're concerned about where the boundaries are,
And there is a
that's good.
version of the map at the library, right? At the old one.
Every library.
every library has a version of the
Printout,
big book.
the Big book.
It's a hard copy book, yes.
So what you're saying is I need to be contacting Darby and really putting the screws to the county to
Sure,
move the G. Not that
don't
she
tell her that I told you to do that.
I won't.
She's working hard.
No, she
She
was.
really is.
And I should add, we have access to all the data, so if
Okay.
there's a specific question on a specific UNA, we can certainly
Right.
provide that, or Darby can. provide
Right.
it.
Well, we might look at the ones that you have flagged that are changing, because we're in the middle of our comp plan
Oh,
process.
yeah,
And having this incorporated, the new version versus the old version would be really useful. And it sounds like Taganic hasn't changed, so we can
Right.
safely go with the old data. We're really only looking at like 3 sites that changed in size.
so do you want to see the old data, or you just wanna see the new maps? Cause we can get you the new map,
We have all of the 2017 data. Is that the last?
it's not the most recent, for many of the sites it is, but it's not, some sites have changed since then. Let me just point out, everybody's asking why the public doesn't have access to all this data. While that would be wonderful, there's real concern because we name where the rare and endangered species are. There's real concern about people, going out and searching, digging up those plants. And a lot of it is private land. So the decision has been made, and I think it's a sound decision. We want the information to pass through the town boards. So that you guys, can make a decision, what information is okay to,
Sure.
for the public. And anybody in the public can go to the library and see, or even can go to the town hall and see the book.
Sure.
So they can get the information. We just want to make it a little harder for people. Yeah,
I'm on the historic preservation side, so I know that well from archaeological resources. It's the same thing. You don't
Yeah.
want people going out and digging.
exactly.
So I would think that a map would probably be the most useful. If the earliest we could get the map itself, so we can incorporate that into our draft document, would be incredibly helpful. So
Yeah, so we can send you a copy of each of the maps of those 9 sites.
sold.
It won't have the dotted lines.
Sure, that's
But it's the current boundary. line.
excellent.
Okay,
Excellent. That's a great starting point. Thank you so much. This was really.
and actually, if you want, we probably can give you the GIS
That
files.
even
that
better.
have
Would
that.
be awesome.
Okay.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
If you email Darby,
Uh-huh.
you can get it, and then Abigail can, Connor can get you the GIS files.
Okay.
Fantastic. We will reach out. Thank you. This is great. Thank you so much for being
Good.
here.
Thank you again.
Wonderful. Okay, we're moving on to municipal board and staff reports. We have legislative Corcoran here with us, so. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, guys.
Nice to get here in time to hear that, the report. Renee's. So let's see, so a lot of what the county's been doing and why I missed a couple of your meetings is because we're working on our budget, and so we added a couple of key positions I want to note. That we added 2 corrections officers because we were apparently, according to the state, relying too heavily on overtime for to fill in some hours there, and they mandated that we get 2 new positions, so we had to do that there. And we got 1 additional 911 dispatcher, similar reasons, we didn't mandate it though, but just to make sure that people were not having to do overtime as much. We want those people as well rested as possible, as you can imagine. And we added another position at Tompkins County Library. Let's see, so our numbers for our budget so far, so we have we still have a tentative budget that we should be passing, I think, at the next meeting unless we put it off. There's been a lot of different factors going on. So for instance, TCAT, we allocated $500,000 to help TCAT with their budget shortfall, but we're one of 3 partners and we all have to put in the same amount. It's our agreement with Cornell and City of Ithaca. So we've agreed to put in $500,000, and which is what they requested from each of their 3 partners. But Cornell right now has only said they're gonna put in $31,000. So we're still in conversation about that. So we can't give them our 500,000. We can only give them 31,000. So that's a big amount in a budget. And that's right there, $500,000 is 1% of our tax levy. So that's why it could change a bit in the next couple of weeks to the next month. And so where we are right now is a tax levy increase of 3.37%. And that would equate to a tax rate 4.89 dollars per thousand of assessed value, which the assessed average or the median house in the county is valued at 300,000, which is interesting. It's the same as last year. For the last umpteen years, it keeps going up and up. That would result in a tax bill for that value of a house at $1,466. And let's see, for the center of government, I've talked before about this. So where we are right now is, we're moving some different departments around. And most notably, the county office for the aging is moving out of downtown temporarily until we get the center of government built. So please let people know if you hear of any concerns. We've heard some concerns from people. We will provide transportation. You can call 211. You can also call, maybe they can help you over the phone, maybe they can come to you. But you can call, so you can get, again, you can call County Office for the Aging. We authorize them to get an additional vehicle if they need it. So, or you can call 211 to help you with transportation up there. And let's see, we've also moved a couple other departments. Board of Elections is going to be moving into the old county office for the aging, which is right near the DSS building. By law, the elections, Department of Elections has to stay down in center seat, the county seat. So they have to stay down there. I don't know if you've heard us here as much as I do about people having questions about why we're moving where. So hopefully that's gonna be 2 or 3 years. Moving forward with the center of government, in the next 8 months, we're going to be demolishing 3 buildings, the corner of Tioga and Buffalo. And one is where the Board of Elections and Assessment was, and then 2 other buildings that we bought there, an old Key Bank building and an old building where some lawyers were housed. And some people have asked me, I'm sure, tongue in cheek, yes, we made sure the lawyers were added there. So let's see, anything on that. We've had a lot of people concerned about the flock cameras, and I know you have, I think Trumansburg has some flock cameras, and those are the cameras that public safety departments use to read license plates. And so we did approve getting money to help fund those for another year. And I'll just say that I was on the fence about voting for it, but I did vote for it because I don't think we have all the information. We had a lot of people come and talk to us, say they were concerned about sharing the data and AI, and I think there are a lot of concerns about that. Are people, could it be shared with ICE, various things? But I think right now we don't have enough data. If we were going to do that, could we get a different company? Could we get a different system? Could we get something else? Because we have seen decrease in crime, especially violent crimes and especially to do with guns and things like that. So and been able to track different people. Recently they were able to track somebody that had killed somebody, and they were able to track their movements and right to their house, find the person. So anyway, we did ask for next year for the department, the sheriff's department, to be more transparent, like who's requesting. Like we want to see a dashboard of who's requesting information so that we can track that. We opened up a Code Blue shelter on Cherry Street where we bought some property to build a shelter. A permit right now, we're using hotels for shelter, and even Code Blue, which Code Blue is for when the temperature drops below freezing with wind chill. We are supposed to have no barrier way to shelter anybody that asks for shelter for those nights. So that is over at on Cherry Street, and we purchased a building there, and then eventually we're going to turn that property into build a shelter, hopefully this year. If you go down to legislature meetings, I just want to let people know that we increased our security. Unfortunately, we don't usually talk about issues that we're having as far as if we're having threats or other things like that. But I'll just suffice to say that we've been thinking about it for a while, and we wanted to make sure that our staff and other people that visit us are as safe as we can make it. So that's why we've had to increase or add security during legislature meetings. Let's see, do you want sales tax numbers for September?
Sure.
For the county, we were down from September last year, 14.49%. So we had a drop, and Year to date, though, we are up 4.04% compared to last year. But we are still down, the county's budget, we're still down about $500,000 from where we budgeted. So that's not great news for us. And municipalities, on average, you guys are up 1.93% from last September, and total up 5.36% year to date as the end of September compared to last year. And I want to talk about the SNAP benefits, which stopped at the beginning of November because food security is a big issue we've been talking a lot about at the county. And I've been working with the town of Ulysses, Food Bank, Village of Trumansburg, and also my district. I also represent the northern third of Enfield, so I've been working with them. So lots of detail, but let's just see. The summary would be the county has allocated some monies, 50,000 to help with food security, which would go to the food bank. And the reason why, because a lot of people say, well, can you like go buy food? Can you distribute? Can you give people vouchers? The food bank buys food at such a discount. It really makes sense to buy the food there. And same thing, we've talked to the actual food pantries, the food pantries. So the food banks supply the food pantries, and the food pantries say the same thing, just give us money because they can buy it cheaper. And they need, and after visiting more food pantries lately, they have a system set up where on this table, we have string beans. On this table, we have beans, or we have rice over here, and they need a certain amount because they have quite a lot of people coming in. It's really hard. And after seeing more of this, I will never donate like a can of beans or something like that. They need to know the expiration date for everything. There's certain reasons. So I was helping a little bit with a fundraiser for the Enfield Food Pantry. And so far they've raised $20,000 in 2 weeks. So I told them here in Trumansburg, I'd be glad to help. So, with the fundraise here, Anna Kellis is from here, so I think she can help. I can ask her, we can, figure out how to raise money for this, specifically for this food pantry. So a little bit about numbers, that's okay, about the pantries. So, and a lot of this already, about 100 people usually come to the Trumansburg one every other week. They have their food pantry. They had a surge of, I'm gonna round off, about 10 new people came. And then Enfield, which is the biggest food pantry in the county, they have 600 people come every single week. And so they're open 3 mornings every week. So they've taken about 200 people each day. So total, they get about 600 people every week. And so they started to see an increase right before even SNAP benefits stopped. So people, also are feeling, where am I going to get my food? So they started to see their numbers increase. But so then they had about a 20% increase their first weekend in November after SNAP benefits stopped. And then the next weekend they had, for their 3 days, 45% increase, 30%, and then 30%. So to give you the rough numbers, they usually get 600 people. They had an additional over 200 additional people that came, and most of them were new people. And I went to both pantries, and Caitlin and I were at the Trumansburg one, and the Enfield one I went to. They have much more diversity there because I believe because they're a lower barrier. They don't take people's names. I'm not saying anything is right or wrong, but there's people from outside of the county. There's a lot of people that don't speak English. They counted 15 different languages that people speak. And so that's a real challenge. So if you have time to volunteer, donate money, contact the food pantries ahead of time to see if they need your volunteer, because it could be, oh, this group of people are coming today and they don't need you right then. So please talk to them. I know Enfield can use more volunteers. Trumansburg is, at least when we went, it was flush with volunteers. They could have really used people. For instance, one lady came in and she didn't speak English. They couldn't tell what language she spoke. First time there. And they gave her a card that said she was collecting for one family, so she had a number one. And she goes up to the first table and it says two. Meaning you could take two of these per family. And so she came back and she's like, what? She needed somebody to walk through with her. Even just to go this, just to show her, if you, you don't have to speak her, she needed something. Enfield could really use volunteers. I was helping people carry stuff back and forth to their cars to speed things up. I mean, they could use more people. So I'll just leave that there. And we don't know, our money, we donated 10,000 so far to the, or not, I don't know, I don't think the county calls it a donation. We're somehow allocating money to the food bank. 10,000, we've allocated up to 50,000, but that is a drop in the bucket. They really need the state money. I don't know if it's started flowing yet, but they're hoping the state money will flow. And then there's the boxes. That's a whole other thing, but I don't think everybody needs to know about the boxes.
We will be a location for that though.
Okay,
So the emergency.
right here?
Yes, in
Oh,
town hall.
great.
So there's emergency boxes that we've been allocated based on the percentage of people on on SNAP benefits. And so, if somebody's if somebody's in a circumstance where they need, emergency food storage, not storage, emergency food, we're gonna have it here, so.
Yeah, this reminds me, the good thing about having gone through COVID together with y'all is that we know we can do it working together. And so this is taking different departments, different municipalities, different organizations working together to make sure that getting the information out to people, getting food to people. So it's working, but it's a challenge. Let's see. And the last thing now, December is my last month as your legislator. And I hope to come to next month's meeting, but sometimes things happen. So I just wanted to make sure I was able to come in person and say to the people in the community, that that I've been honored to represent people. There you are, there's the people. That I've been honored to represent people in the community. And so thank you for entrusting me and for telling me what issues are important and to help me with advisory boards, helping us to do the hard work. And so thank you, everybody. And to work with the town board has just been wonderful. Like I said, doing things together, to me, it multiplies, the amount of help that we can give to the community and the great things that we can do. So Rachel, you might have heard Rachel Ostlund got elected for this position and she's great. So I don't know if she's come to any of these meetings in person yet, but you'll be meeting her. I've been working with her a lot to get her up to speed. She's very curious and very involved already in a lot of different things, including food security in the community. So thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Oh, well, thank you.
No, just kidding.
Thank you.
It's not recorded.
Not every municipality can brag about the level of access you've helped us have to Tompkins County, because not every legislator does what you do. So it's important to recognize that you went above and beyond, like you did not get an 8C or an A+ student in legislating. So thank you for representing us and for keeping us updated. Okay, let's go through board updates. Quickly, I wanted to flag, there's the finance committee met. The notes from every finance committee meeting have been posted in the board packets for months and months. So if you wanna look back at old ones, feel free to go back to those packets through the website. Today I circulated to the board, the draft fund balance policy recommendations, the tweaks you're recommending for, B funds to better reflect our actual practices. So that went out to board members today in your email. Please get your comments back to Blixie by the end of, or by November, or I'm sorry, December 1st. And then we'll discuss it, the policy itself, at our December 9th meeting. But then my plan would be to, any changes that are adopted would actually happen in the organizational meeting, a common meeting to amend policy, but it'd be nice to have that conversation in December, so please send your feedback by that email to Blixie, not to the whole board. It's not a conversation, just send it to her. Linda, I see your hand. Quickly, I'm just gonna want to make sure that we address comp plan. Is there any other committee representatives on the town board who wanna speak up on anything you guys got going on? Okay. And your comp plan?
Does
Update.
Linda wanna go first?
Linda, if you'd like to go first, go ahead.
Or not?
Okay, let's do comp, okay.
Oh, there you should.
No, go ahead,
you go, Linda.
I'm sorry, I'm having a few computer glitches. I didn't mean to raise my hand, but
Oh, okay.
sorry.
I didn't think you had a water source protection plan meeting, so I was, but okay. Thank you for letting me know.
I'm having a canine cacophony at the moment too.
All right, so the comp plan. First, thank you, Michael and Rich, for coming last week. It was nice to see you guys there. We had quite a few people come to the public hearing on the compilation of all chapters and appendices on the comp plan that's now out in public review. And one of the biggest themes that we heard was that people wanted more time. So we've been talking about it for weeks, been trying to get this done for a variety of reasons this year. But based off of feedback from the steering committee and feedback from the public, we're gonna extend this for, right now it's up to 4 months, 6
In
months.
March, yeah, in March, it was 5 months.
5 months, end of 5 months. So the steering committee, I believe everybody's happy to stay on through the end of the project. I haven't heard any other thing otherwise. I know we might have to work some things out and see what MRB needs for additional support to finish out this project. This is partly their project, so we cannot do this without them. But I think giving people more time to dig in will be beneficial for us in the long run. So as part of that, everybody here, next Thursday, we'll have an open house here, or next Wednesday, the 19th, we're gonna have an open house here to, again, look through the objectives, goals, and policies and the future land use map, similar to the open house we had down at Rackers in October. Unfortunately, we just didn't get the participation there that we had wanted. So we're gonna try again. So we'll be here from 4 to 7. You should get emails and messages and
We have
Facebook posts and
flyers up, right?
flyers, so, yeah, so we still want people to provide input on the comp plan. There's a lot of good material in there. There's a lot of, if you want something very specific to focus on, I'd focus on the goals, objectives, and policies. Rather than reading the 300-page text, but it is a good document, so you feel free to read the 300, and I think it's 81 pages is the main body of the text.
It's 200 something. The main body is like 250 without appendix. That's what the newest one was.
Okay, then we switched it. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe it's 380 total.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, I don't know if you had any other questions.
No.
So I was just gonna say I've been playing phone tag with MRB, but it will be more money. And so I think that's simply one of the plan is that we will just need to pay for it. because they have fulfilled their contract, so it'll be beyond. There are some things that still need to be done that are within the contract, which like doing the finalizing environmental review, producing the final document. There are still things that will be completed in that, so in that timeframe that are under contract for additional meetings, and additional revisions to drafts. Extended, but, where we are, so.
So we're. Next week, the 19th is the next open house, and then our next comp plan steering committee meeting is gonna be on the 10th of December. To give MRB some time to incorporate the comments that we've received. The steering committee has been tasked with reviewing it in detail again. And especially the comments that each other have had to see how much revisions might be required, because we, 5 people agree on them. There might be some edits that one person feels strongly about, but the rest of the steering committee is on the fence. So we're gonna use the 10th of December meeting and then the January meeting to kind of triage the comments that are out there and come to resolutions. So that is the update.
Any other committee, updates?
We had a youth commission meeting, but we're kind of setting the schedule for next year in terms of what our meetings are gonna be.
We're working, Three Falls met, and we're working, through, we have essentially a draft, master plan. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. The next step is for state parks to review it, and they're not gonna be able to meet about it until early December, so, we may be looking at, pushing, finalizing, in fact, I think it's very likely, finalizing the master plan in early 2026. Because we wanna make sure. You can adopt all you want, but if state parks isn't willing to let you do the things that are on there, it doesn't make sense too, so. We're looking forward to getting that, but we've had good response. We had good public participation. And then tonight we had the open house for, the, draft, so couple design options, or design considerations for, the park donation. And we had over 500 people respond to the survey. So we had really good public participation. In fact, I think we will be the community since Cornell Design Connect formed in 2008. My understanding is we are either number 1 or number 2 for public participation on the project. So good job, Ulysses. That we, I don't know how many people attended tonight, the open house, but we got some. There'll be plenty more time for feedback too. This is just another way to connect with the public. Anything else before we move on? Okay. We have a consent agenda that would cancel the second meetings in November and December. And also allow us to do our annual tax bill insert where we put a budget summary in the tax bill. We have to do that by resolution every year. If nobody wants to discuss any of these items, we can just move the consent agenda. If you want to pull out and discuss any of these. There's a second? Second. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, we pulled item 7A, the RFP for ground mounted solar, so that will be coming back to the board in December. New business, 8A is the Agard Road speed reduction. We got requests from neighbors along Agard Road to ask DOT to do a speed study. And I reviewed it with Highway Superintendent Scott Stewart, and he supported the request. This is, I feel like the board might be seeing a numerous ones of these in the next 6 months. But the most recent one now is Agard Road. And so if the town board approves it, we'll send it to the county for consideration. And if they accept it, then it will go on to New York State DOT. So any questions or discussion on that? Okay. Then I'll accept a motion to adopt the resolution requesting a traffic study to reduce the speed limit on Agard Road. Thank you. Is there a
Second.
second? Thank you. Any further discussion? The only thing I would say is in their requests, there were also, requests for, some signage, speed slowing mechanisms, traffic calming mechanisms. I will note that there is actually an objective in the transportation section. I believe it's the transportation section, might be capital facilities now that I can't quite remember. I think it's in transportation. About doing a comprehensive look throughout the town about what kinds of mitigations would be helpful. I think it's important that, and I talked to Scott Stewart about it. We want to look more holistically. It doesn't mean that he's not interested in hearing from residents about, the nuances of their individual street. But we know that we need to be a little bit more holistic in how we're looking at traffic calming overall. I can tell you, having gone door to door to a lot of residents, not everybody on every street is in accord about how they think their street should be managed. Most people seem to be like in favor of lowering speed limits, but I have heard everything. We need a lot more signs too. I don't like signs, they're visual clutter. So like, it's not, I don't think a very simple fix all. So we're certainly, Scott is very interested in pursuing a more robust look at how that's handled. And so he'll also be talking to residents, is my understanding, on that road to see what's doable. So there's been a motion as a second. Are there any further comments? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Last item of new business. I love my job because I learn all sorts of new and different things. And this was a new one for me. We got a request, and I provided the letter in the board packet as well as printed it out. For a request for an open development area. This happens when there are properties in the municipality that don't actually have frontage on roads, public roads. And in order to get a building permit to go through development on those parcels, they need to be designated as open development areas. So I sent this, I'm assuming you're our folks I know. Oh, did Anita leave? Okay.
Actually, I'm Andy Sharada with Sharada Engineering.
Wonderful.
Maureen Coley is online.
Excellent.
Jason's on.
Excellent.
They're the property.
Wonderful. Well, I got to meet I think Jason's sister. And earlier, so I saw that she wasn't here. Did I adequately explain what you'd like to do some development on a spot that you are not legally allowed to develop right now because of this?
Yeah, actually, we're in the process of submitting to the planning board. There's a set of stairs, existing stairs that are 40 feet from the parking lot down to the lake house that are need of repair. So we've submitted for a permit. Will be on the agenda for the planning board December 2nd, hopefully. And during that process, in the pre-application meeting, we found out that no permits could be issued on this lot because of that state law, which we weren't aware of as well. And there's a whole number of lots actually probably throughout the town, north and south of this property, that would be in the same position if they want to get a building permit to do any sort of repairs. So in parallel with the planning process, requesting the open development area designation.
So the improvement that they're looking to do is rebuild the stairs?
Yeah, it's rebuilding stairs, so,
Yeah, the development's already there.
Right, yeah,
Yes.
so I figured that
This is not a
they
new construction.
said that they lived there, I
Yeah.
didn't see
Yeah,
what
there
the
wasn't a lot of
improvement
information.
was, but that's,
Well, but that actually doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't,
So
not
it
in this
doesn't matter
particular
at all.
case, I just was curious.
So what really
Confusing.
matters is, for the purposes of tonight, what we legally need to do is refer the request to the planning board. And it would require, it's a discretionary legislative action for the town board to change the law for the designation of this property or any other properties. I received another request just today for another tax parcel in the same vicinity. Yours you emailed, so I got yours last week and was able to get it on the agenda and have legal review in advance.
yeah, that property's north of this. so.
So we got that one in the mail today, and I can't get it reviewed by our town attorney on short notice, like, so that'll be coming before, I would anticipate that's coming before the town board in December. But the next step is to send it to the planning board for their consideration and recommendation. So that's what the resolution
Yeah.
does.
So
is the
moved.
referral.
Second.
Any further discussion or comment? All those in favor? Aye. So I will make sure that the town planner is aware of this, and then you can follow up with him. If you have any questions though in the process, you have my email address, please feel free to reach out. I'll do whatever I can to help provide some clarification if necessary. Awesome, thank you.
Okay, question on that?
Yeah.
You know, yet, so if we declare this an open development area, is that like a permanent designation on this property?
So,
If they go to and get a roof or something,
yes.
do they have to do it again?
Yeah, it's my understanding that if you change the designation to open development, it will allow them to continue to develop. It doesn't mean that they can do whatever they want, whenever they want. It just allows them to go through.
So they go to the plant, to
Right.
Neil's again and
Right.
decommission.
And whatever zone they're in is gonna guide what they can do in the zone. So
Right,
it doesn't
right. I'm
override
just
that, but
curious if this is a one-time
it's a one-time.
legislative action.
My understanding, and again, this is still new territory, my understanding is once this is granted, then it just gives them the ability to behave like any other property owner.
So any other parcel that has any repairs, needs a building permits, come to you as well. To be designated, so. I wasn't sure if it made sense for the town to consider looking at all the landlocked parcels. And if you can do a blanket development area, because it has to be an individual request for each property owner, or if the town can do it. Carte blanche and just say, okay, we have 10, Lump Lake, and and you can do it all in one fell swoop, but might be worth looking at.
It's definitely
Oh,
an
if it sounds
exercise.
easy, it probably isn't, so. It's a lesson I've learned, but we will definitely be exploring this further and figuring out a solution, but thank you for bringing it to our attention in this particular project. Have a good evening.
We have a planning board chair that
What?
likes doing lots of activities,
Definitely.
lots of research. Maybe if we
Okay. We are upcoming events. We just canceled our November 25th meeting. Town hall is closed Thanksgiving, town buildings are closed Thanksgiving and the day after, those are town holidays. And so our next regular meeting is December 9th. And that will most likely be our final meeting of 2025, although now saying that, I will probably have to call a special. I have no idea what I would have to call it for, but
It's out in the air, so.
it's in the, exactly, so. I will try not to, but we never know. So next up we have minutes. And they were from the October 20, thank you. Did anybody have any changes or alterations they needed? No.
Nope.
Okay, accept a motion to approve as presented. So moved. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Fine. And, payment of audited claims is up next. Michael and, Liz reviewed them. Do you guys catch anything that needs to be flagged?
Nothing that didn't get resolved with.
Yeah, highway stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll read the resolution. Thank you, Carissa. Resolved that the Ulysses Town Board approves payments of claims number 518 through 574 in the amount of $195,103.64.
Say.
Thank you. I'll move that. Yep. Sorry. I should have said I will move that. Sorry. Thank you, Michael. Is the second. We also had a big health insurance bill was in, so that was a 20,000 plus dollar
Yep.
chunk of.
What was the one for 20 or something?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And that brings us back full circle, the privilege of the floor. Got my handy dandy timer going. Is there anybody in person who wishes to address the town board? Is there anybody online who wishes to address the town board?
Not today.
Awesome. Well, we'll be back on December 9th. If you think of anything before then, or feel free to email.
But one thing, really did like the unique natural resource presentation. That was good to see.
Wasn't that great? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we use them all the time in the planning board, so they're really useful.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you should have some updated ones, or at least updated mapping to help, and maybe this will inspire others to be willing to have their properties designated potentially.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Okay, then Rich, take it away.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Well done.